Hey, Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Farm Manager World. It's episode number 2. We are ready to begin chapter number 2, where the hand-holding decreases just a bit. You get a little more freeform in what's going on, but there's still a lot that did not get introduced in chapter 1 that will get introduced in chapter 2. So there's still going to be a fair bit of hand-holding as you proceed, and then later on it'll just be full-blown objectives. For now, let's get into my very own tractor. Thought it might reset the map for us on this one. It does not. We continue right on this map. We have an intensive farm expansion ahead of us. First, take care of ourselves by improving the house, upgrade it to a medium farm owner's house. Take a look at newly available training courses and buildings. Maybe you'd like to increase the employee limit, try farming goats, or plant flowers. This is where things open up a little bit. So we want to upgrade. That's going to cost us $50,000 to upgrade the farmhouse. Okay, get ready to invest big. More auto trade training, and then create at least 8 auto trades, for example, to buy animal fodder or sell crops and milk. We're already at 6 now, so getting the training going to increase that to 8 will be important. Alright, a quick one increases maximum number of auto trade operations. It doesn't tell me exactly how many it's going to be, but we'll get that going very quickly. And then we just need to add 2 auto trades. Gooseberries will definitely be one of those, as we want to get that sold. As you can see with the farmhouse expansion, we have filled out a bit more on this right hand side. Melons being harvested now. They're still cleaning up the barley that just recently finished. I suppose that's raking the straw, is it not? And there is that melon harvest ongoing. Alright, and that completes that task. Now things are starting to open up a little bit. We're heading into our first big field, 52 by 52, much larger than what we have. I mean, this is like 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 territory right now. Very small. So 52 by 52 is going to take up a lot of space. We're going to plant grass, but we're going to do machine work now, so into this big secondary chapter. The field size that they are targeting for us now is literally the maximum field size that we can use, at least at the moment. There is relevant training that can allow us to exceed that, but this is that maximum size in both length and width with a 13 by 13 grid. 0.27 hectares. Still not huge, but you can see much larger than what we've had thus far. I'm going to go ahead and place it back here a little bit so we can set ourselves up nicely for this one, beginning with a access road. We want to set it up as a grass field as per our requirement, and I suppose it does make sense. Grass field's going to be much cheaper to get into. It's not going to turn as much profit, but for such a large field, it could get expensive super. So this time we're delving into machinery and away from manual work. So everything here has to happen with support. Soon we'll be buying machinery. It's costly, so if you're low on money, you may need a loan. Would you like some instructions on loans and leasing? I'm going to go with no for now. We do have 442k. That might not be enough. First, we need a tractor, basic machine that is useful for various field work. Open the machine market panel and choose a Rega tractor. 45,000 for this. We could definitely afford that. And one of the neat things of this game that you don't get in other similar games is you're going to have management of equipment and space, and you can see right now we have just 4 slots for equipment available to us at the farm itself. So we're going to go ahead and place that there, and we need to hire 1 employee who can manage machines. We need a plow, but we are also going to need a parking lot. Tractor located here is not going to be sufficient itself, and part of the reason why I've put this so far away is to prepare ourselves for the equipment that's going to go along with that. So far we've bought our plow and cultivator, nearly enough to get this field on the go. We need to change our fertilizer to manure, and now we need a manure spreader. The plowing's about to get underway. So we have ourselves prepped to the point of being able to seed the field but we just need time for that to complete. In the meantime, our manure storage has built up decently over time. We've got a couple thousand in there. Should save us some money. And while all this new equipment hasn't been cheap, it certainly has come at a cost. We're talking about something along the lines of 25,000 is all. And we still actually have a profitable month on our hands, though a big chunk of that was the 200K that we picked up for finishing kind of the previous chapter. We've plowed, now we're going to cultivate. When plowing, you're digging up the earth, pulling those nutrients out from lower areas. Cultivating is prepping the field for planting, smoothing it out, getting that surface that you need, and getting those smaller channels in which to put seeds in. And now we fertilize it to enrich the nutrients that are there, increasing yields as you do that. And of course, our fertilizer is au natural, as we've gotten it from the production within our cowshed that is producing not just milk, but manure as well. That becomes one of the big keys to succeeding in a game such as this, or succeeding in the real world as we begin to use our planter and put that seed into the ground, which means we're going to be complete with this task here very soon in a pretty short amount of time. We've done this in a week to 10 days. Not long to get this field planted. Next up, we need a sprayer to protect the field from diseases and pests, and a water tanker to water it. Unlike some of the others, the sprayer is definitely a lot more expensive, but again, it's cheaper to own than it is to lease these items long term. Our sprayer does not fit. Okay, we're gonna have to the 2x2 footprint. We then have to shuffle things around. There's one vacant space left here, and I went ahead and moved our seeder over next to the tractor, and we were able to get everything in without having to buy an additional parking lot. Short term, long term, you'll definitely need more, as one set of equipment will never be enough. Okay, next up is training for expert ground assessment. Okay, this unlocks the soil survey tool. It's going to cost us 12,000. It will take 5 days to complete. Speaking of to complete, as we're waiting for a harvest, what we're looking at on this one is 32 days left till the grass is ready to harvest. Now you can see the stages that the field takes with plowing, cultivating, pH fertilization, nitrogen fertilization, general fertilization, then planting, now spraying for pesticides, watering, harvesting, and then finally raking. And with the grass, you're not going to have to redo a lot of these steps. Most of these steps are going to bypass rather easy, and you're going to go harvest to harvest. Certain crops you're going to have to replant every single time, like with the barley. Certain crop types have a lot of upfront stages, but then over time, it becomes more profitable as you don't have to redo every step every time. Something like an orchard where you plant trees, it's going to take years to even bear fruit in some cases, or to bear much fruit. But as it becomes fully mature, you're going to get more and more out of it, and that becomes where things really become profitable for you. And that's going to be one of the keys to a game like this, is not back and forth, picking and choosing, altering. There's going to be times where you are going to want pieces that can generate long-term wealth for you versus something that's going to generate a little more upfront, short-term rolling income. Okay, so next up is to survey soil. It's expensive, but it will significantly increase the profits of new fields. Select soil survey in the bottom menu. Click on the land to probe the ground. Yeah, 42,000. See our survey being taken now. Check soil survey results. Go to the layers view. Select soil parameters tab. Alright, so this tells us how is our field of grass. We need to buy a mower attachment, a swather, and a self-loading trailer. And we'll have our complete set of machinery for this crop. For harvest, we need additional workers, either seasonal or permanent. We'll get the grass from the field to the trailer. Okay, so pH is good. Nitrogen is fairly good. And we have a fairly good soil class, but not well. 3 more pieces of equipment is definitely going to take up more space. So let's go ahead and add another parking lot. Again, we move on to the smaller stage of hand holding, though I am going to open this up, this barley field, to where we can get machine work on there too. It should actually really speed things up, get it off the employees. They can handle the greenhouses in our small field. But now we need to do large scale logistics, which unlocks the logistics building. 10K, definitely not a cheap one. And at the rate that we have spent money, we're going to need a couple of grass harvests really before we start to improve our sum. Our barley field is halted because we are entering into seasons that can't sustain the growth of barley, so that field is now prepped and ready to go for next time around. Meanwhile, the gooseberries are growing, and we've got other things going on, but with training done, we're ready to move on to our logistics building construction. Ooh, this is an expensive one. And there is our new logistics building. Looks like I will need to add just right there. Alright, next up we need to harvest and sell 5,000 kilograms of grass. I think we should have that easily done. And we're kind of ahead of schedule, so we will have to hurry up and wait on some things. It looks like we need to get a worker for the logistics building hired, though. With the logistics building up and running and staff assigned there, he's moving things around the farm. That's kind of the main task that I'm seeing him go out and accomplish, as we need to transfer something from a warehouse to a direct location. He's completing that and making things happen at a near instant sort of manner, instead of somebody physically having to go and carry something from this warehouse to, say, the cow shed. Grass nearly ready. Just 1 day left. Can't come soon enough, too, because we're down to the last 57,000. You can see right now we are taking the mower out there, cutting the grass down. We are not set to make silage or anything along those lines just yet. So this should be as simple as using a swather to make it into neat piles and then driving over it with the self-loader and deposit. Now this should be a lot of grass, so where does it fit? Will it go in the warehouse? So you can see the swather now coming through, pulling all the loose grass together into a swath, into that neat pile. That's going to then allow the loader to come along and just drive directly over the top of that pile and scoop it up. Here's how that process then begins, and you can see how it rapidly scoops up. We're easily getting 5,000. That's 43,200 grass for a single harvest. And the neat thing is you go right back into stages of just watering and harvesting after a while. We'll see where that resets at, as it's still in the collecting bales process. Now, there's different steps on what can be done here. This is just straight up cut grass. But with just 65,000 right now for the account balance, we definitely want to get this sold, as that grass has been added into the barn. It's now ready. It's now ready to sell. Got a good opportunity for us. The barley's price is finally neutral, but there's demand for 9,000 kilograms of barley, which is what we have. We have about 9,800. We're going to get a huge increase on that one and deliver all of that with a 30% increase on price. For now, I'm actually tempted to hold off on the grass a little bit and see if it's going to show up on available contracts. We'll give it a little bit of time, but getting that barley sold at that increase rate definitely helped recover some of our losses here, as we're back up to 81,000. It's a fairly small field of barley. It's only a single harvest of it. You can see where the grass is kind of picked up in the pattern of things again. We're past planting. We're down to that spraying, watering, harvesting stage. And it's already down to just 25 days, which means once a month, or just over, just better than once a month, you get to harvest the grass with a quantity of about 33,000. And that's not even doing any additional steps to it. We'll see how much that's worth here shortly. But if we were to just straight sell, in fact, we can only sell 10,000 at a time. That's 3K, which means we have 33,000, so triple that. We're looking at 9K plus a little bit more. Not quite enough for 10K, but monthly. Takes a while to pay for everything that we purchased to set that up, but that's a decent profit for just grass. Well, they do want us to sell some. Let's go ahead and sell the first bit. And there you go. So how's business? Check your finances in the Economy Manager panel. Make sure you have a monthly income of at least 5,000. I know we're well above that now with expanded logistics. You could easily achieve this by setting up new animal farms. See that barley brought in 14,000. See our animal products monthly income is about 16,000. The fields 16,000, but of course that was a little bit in addition. Right now we're not quite covering even just the monthly wages, which is at 18,000. So at the moment we are slowly losing money. So next up, use newly acquired skills and machinery to start a new crop. Create a field on fully surveyed ground. Field will have the class of the dominant type of the soil of which it is created. Means we've got to spend money on a survey. We don't necessarily have to have a large field. We just need to have one field, but it's got to be first class. Right now we know that this area is pretty good. You could assume that maybe it filters into here. Based on this field here, I would assume that this is going to be one of our safer areas to try to put in a second field. 13,000 is what it cost me to run that, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough. The field classification comes down to what is the dominant type, meaning majority. And this, 28 versus 26, class 1 versus class 2. It would just come in. So we're going to go ahead and create a field in that space. Oh, that says class 2. If you were to go here, that would make it class 1. Okay, I think if we go here, that should, even that one's still coming out. But if we have this, we have a class 1. Is it still class 1 if we extend this way? It is all the way down to here. So we will go ahead and create this field. Fully surveyed ground. We haven't done all of it. So as a crop, we need to choose a European specialty, black currant. Big profits quickly. When you have the soil surveyed, you can modify pH, nitrogen to the needs of the plant. Set the ideal conditions for black currant, pH 6.5 and nitrogen 100. All right, we need 3 additional machines for this one. Broadcast spreader for nitrogen and pH fertilization, as well as a transplanter and a box trailer. I think we have enough room to get all of those here. Let's hope we do. And we only have 33,000 left, so let's hope we have enough money to make this happen. We might have to get into that loan. Work on the field has already begun, but you can see we're already starting to run into issues with the tractor can only be in so many places at once. 10 blackcurrant seedlings, and that'll quickly cover that. We have a pretty sizable machine park now. While we're waiting for blackcurrant planting, take care of machine repairs by building a repair shop close to the garages and parking lots. We'll need to complete necessary training course first. We need to have 2 garages in order to do that. A garage improves machine durability by 30% by getting it out of the weather, but it costs 20,000 to put down, which we are just short on that right now. But we need 2 of them before we can even start the repair shop. But can we do the repair shop without training? Yeah, machine repair. So in order to do machine repair and unlock the repair shop, I've got to get 2 garages. Oh, we've let go of our seasonal employees. Maybe I need to get at least 1 permanent employee. It's definitely going to save us some money right now. 80,000 a month. So in order to get a bank loan, we have to have bank offer training. There's the bank offer. It's going to cost us 1,000 to get on with that one. So to help with things in the short term, I've hired that 1 permanent employee to deal with the greenhouses and the blackcurrant, or not blackcurrant, the gooseberries are still growing. 1 staff to do it, but I don't want to hire additional right now as we're short on cash. But we are up to 21,000 at this moment with work on the blackcurrant taking place. I'm just worried about expenses suddenly accruing for us, but that training is going to be done in 4 days. But we're going to go ahead and place our first garage now, and then I'm going to move some of the equipment, especially the more expensive equipment, like probably our water taker would be among them. So you can tell by their resale price. Yeah, the sprayer is an expensive one. So we'll repark that inside the garage. We're still pretty early in the process, just in the fertilization right now of pH. Loans are available to us now. It's going to cost me 10%, which means 2,000, 2,500 to get that. But the faster we can do it, the easier it is going to be to move on to the next stage. So that means second garage, bringing that account balance right on down. I'm going to move the tractor into this second garage here momentarily. Now that I have the second garage up, we can do the training for machine repair. Sadly, it's another $5,000 that we have to spend. Nearly done with the nitrogen fertilization, then we've got to do regular fertilization, and finally we can plant. Somewhere around the time that that's done, we might just be done with the other task as well, but it's going to depend a little bit on finances. I think there's a beginning of month and mid-month expenses. 1 tractor, 1 employee, 2 fields is obviously not going terribly well. It's going okay. The more difficult one is, and actually that's really 3 fields, but one of them is just idle because of the season. 4 work locations for a single farmhand is tricky for the manual work. It's taking them a very long time to get through things. We have harvested melons. Bok choy's got 21 days. Watering in progress right now, and that's where they're at. It's Ellen Cross, the one that I hired. But she's having a really hard time trying to keep up with the workload there. I could definitely use more employees, but the big thing that concerns me is just where that account balance is. Just how tricky things are right now. I do have 33,000 grass that we could sell, and there's definitely some money in that. The blackcurrant obviously is not even growing yet. We're still at that fertilization process. It's taking time. We just got another harvest now of melons that came in, so that there are some things to sell, but instead of just cashing in and not having to worry about the finances short term, I am playing the long game at least a little bit with this. I don't know how far they're going to take us into this run, the items, the things that they want us to do. I'm just trying to play that long game and cash in when the time's right. Mainly time right being not just drop it in and selling straw for 869, but finding a contract to get a better price. And so I keep checking every so often on the sale contracts of things like straw, not strawberries, and grass. We now have melon, and seeing if we have enough of those items to increase that sale price into a healthier state. But the fertilization is nearly done, so that's going to help us there. We're up to 6,700. We have finished the training, so actually the repair building could now go up. For the repair shop, we need 25,000, so it is going to take a bit more. And having only sold a small chunk of the grass so far, with a second harvest now on the way, even without better paying option, I think it might be time to at least cash in a little bit more on what we have regarding the grass. 1 harvest of grass will bring us in 10K. I'll go ahead and cash in on that one. We do have some peas, though not much. We do have straw. We do have that barley, what's left of it. In the short term, that brought us up to 18,000, now 19,000. So we're not too far off from that 25K. There's a lot left to do with this grass field short term, but I'm assuming the blackcurrant's going to get the next priority, which is the planting. It seems to be going back and forth on the 2 fields. It's waited. It waited its turn, so then that one waits its turn, and then it waited, so it gets the next turn. So it seems to be operating in a back and forth manner as it slows here at the end of November. No, back to the grass field, huh? In terms of priority, they should be standard. Turn of the month expenses cleaned us out, but did not drop us into a negative balance. Another 43,000 grass, which is a good, 12,000. Discovered two more opportunities to make some money. 100 kilograms of bok choy. We're going to easily get that with the harvest coming up in just a few days. And then 100 kilograms of peas, which we already have. I do find it weird that the grass field ended up getting priority, but it'll be done with its tasks here in a little 24 days again until the next one is ready. And there is that assignment now for the black currant. No, still not watering of the grass field taking place. Still somehow stealing the thunder away from the black currant. Oh, the melon. Okay, the melon's about to expire, so we need to sell the melon. 3,000 for that. Harvesting of the bok choy right now, which we're going to sell that for a decent profit here shortly. And we've completed that task for the bok choy. Plus 129%. Big pay increase there. It's actually 29%, not 129. Yeah, those contracts definitely make a big difference. Up to 18,000. Alright, and we are fully into winter now. Official winter, even though it's been snowing for a month. Off and on. Oh, there's a skip winter button. Oh, I definitely don't want to do that. Are we not planting this? Could be. Because of the winter. There it is. Some field work not possible due to the approach of winter. So this is going to have to sit till spring. It's ready to go. These two fields are ready to go. The grass out for winter. So it looks like we really do want to skip winter in order to proceed in a meaningful manner. So our balance is only going to drop by 6,000. That's not bad. We earn enough versus payoff, and that was also the money that we loaned, right? The 25K. We'll be almost done with those installments. That makes me feel better because otherwise we would have a positive balance. And there you go. So it's now end of March. Fields are ready. They're going to be coming back. Let's get the lay of the land here. So we have our staff list. Morale is decent for what we have. There's a lot of limitations to where they are and what they're doing. We have paid off the loan that we had over the winter, so it's taken care of. So there is room to potentially get in there and take on another loan quickly. Grass not available. I already sold the melons. Straw's not coming up. Let's go ahead and sell what we have with that one for now. Give us a little boost to the start of season here. And we are set to begin hires on the 1st of April, which is just a few days from now. So our one permanent employee will soon be joined. Nearly coming out of that winter break even. I think it's a good thing for us. I mean, look how quickly we're getting things going. We've got barley planted, a field that's not a high priority one. But as we enter April, that does cost us a bit of money. So we're down to 8,000. But we were down to 300 in that previous month before we skipped the month. Before we skipped winter in that turn of December. We really are at a better financial state than where we had been. And by now we've hired those seasonal workers. Some, maybe. We have one hired so far. One hired. Okay. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get to 7. Chance to hire is at 53% with what we're offering. We'll give them time to fill that out. Even with 2, we're doubling grass field, getting the attention for the moment. Okay, we have some bok choy that is about to expire. Let's sell it off before it's too late. I believe this tiny little field's getting all the attention. It's not prioritized. Why we can't get the blackcurrant field going. I feel like I need to turn up the prioritization for that field. We did turn up a couple things, like the gooseberry field and a couple greenhouses as priorities, but not these 3 fields. None of them have. They all have the same standard prioritization. Didn't take long, just mid-April, to get to our desired count of 7 temp and seasonal employees, which means our workload across here is going to be a lot faster. I think I want to turn machine work off on this small barley field and let those temp employees handle that one. And finally, we begin seeding the blackcurrant. Such a large field, that's really spread out. Took extra employees. Well, with that, we need 25K, and we're at 24.6. So very, very quickly here, we might be able to get on with our task. That task being building our repair. We do have a turn of the month coming. I know it is likely to put us in debt. There. Okay, we have it. Let's take care of it now. Yeah, that brings us right on down to a unhealthy balance for sure. I know we're going to probably spend about 15,000 or something, and maybe it's a good time to try to sell something, but we have our next task since I already placed that. So machine work is very efficient, and one machine can easily handle several fields, one after the other. Choose a crop for your next field from the plant compendium. Maybe you want the one with high expected yields, or maybe one that is ideally suited to the pH and nitrogen levels of the soil you've tested, or perhaps one that is exceptionally tasty. Another grass harvest. Good way to make some money, but what do they want us to do here? Well, that's not good. Our greenhouse, our guava, died. Not enough staff. I don't know if that happened over the winter. Could have. Where we only had one staff member and that's not enough to do it. She was too busy with other tasks. Didn't get to it. So our task now is to make another class 1 field, another large field. But we're starting to run into limitations in terms of available land, and we certainly don't have the money to be throwing around with other things. So turn of the month did put us into a negative balance, 15,000 to be exact. That's a pretty big negative balance, but we do have some money makers available to us, and I might have to contribute to that a little bit sooner rather than later. In just a few days, we've nearly got back to a positive balance, and that's not something that we've necessarily taken care of just yet. They've got us doing some expensive things that aren't necessarily offsetting with the amount of field work that we have done, which is why they want us to generate another field right now so we can turn it into profit. Are setting us up in kind of a bad way for that it's taking a lot for even one tractor to do all this work. The barley is going to be ready in 30 days. That's going to turn some profit, and I've replaced the guava field, and it's starting the process over. So that's another field working. The melons are going to be done in 39 days. The peas are going to be done in 17, and we're making another gooseberry harvest now. I think the gooseberries are ones that I need to put on auto trade. Never mind, I already have. But we have a lot of grass right now that could be sold. I've just been watching this market trying to get that grass, and it just hasn't been coming up for us. Yeah, the worrying thing is it's taken us 3 weeks to get back to a positive balance when we had, 8K at the turn of the month. So right now, it looks like we're losing close to that. Or by the time we hit, a week from now, maybe we'll only be at about 5 or 6, but it does look like we are on rate to kind of lose money, at least organically lose money, which means the reality is we've got to sell something. We've got a little barley left. We've got some pea. We can get 1,000 out of that barley, and we need to sell some of the grass. We do not need to sell all of the grass. In fact, not even close to that. But if we sell about 20,000, that still gives us 50,000 left. What is our storage like? But that at least helped get us a little further along the way. We can't just hoard all of it. We've got to sell off some of it, even when it's not necessarily at its most profitable. We've got to get ourselves into the right here fairly soon, especially if we're going to make another field in the near future. I'm only 1,000 better off than we had been the previous month. So we do need to sell crops a little bit. There's that first round of expenses. We're right back down to 14,000 in debt. So let's go ahead and sell some more. We'll sell 25,000 this time. It gives us 40K remaining. We can see how grass prices are not good. But that nearly got us out of debt, still on the first of the month. All right, folks. Well, the economic sim side of things is already rearing its ugly head, and finding that balance early on is difficult. Later on, making money becomes a lot easier, but making enough money to continue growing and investing in the farm is where things get tricky. But at least turning a profit becomes a much easier thing to do. But right now, they've got us, spending money on stuff we didn't need. We didn't need those 2 garages. I didn't necessarily need the repair shop either. The extra maintenance for these guys, the upfront cost for these guys, was not something we would be spending that money on right now. This gooseberry field is not necessarily something that's helping us in the long term. Having a bunch of seasonal employees we're not necessarily using versus having a few permanent employees who can actually continue to do the work and work year round and can make use of the greenhouses where our permanent employee who works fields can handle these things. I mean, there's trade-offs. There is trade-offs here, and not every decision is one that I would necessarily be making if I was running this farm myself. And that's made it a little bit harder to turn a profit right now, and we're still not really at a stage where we are turning a profit. However, the black currant, 4 days left until we have our first harvest, and it's supposed to be a pretty profitable one. We still have 40K in grass, and we've got a few days left until we're going to get another 40K in grass and double what we have there. We've got 2 days till a harvest of peas, so there is a means to make money very soon, and can see us turn things from where we're at right now and a little bit in the red to a much healthier margin. But just the organic part of the eggs and the milk, the gooseberries, are not quite seeing us break even, they alone, the continuous activities. So I think the reality to be more profitable is we're going to need to do more of this. We need a larger cow shed. We need more cows so that we can get more. The manure is fine. That's keeping up to break even. We don't need to always be profitable, but we want to at least break even, because then you sell a crop and poof, there's that money you needed, right? Pick your timing on that, you make more. But just that generic monthly expenses not being covered is an obvious sign of, hey, we've got work to do here, but we are following the tutorial. We are going with what they say, and they have wasted a good, I mean, that's 65,000 that we spent on those, and we wouldn't be having any issues right now if not for that. We also spent an extra 2,500 on the loan, so near 70,000 wasted. Things to keep in mind as we go forward, but we'll continue on. I think this chapter's got to be pretty dang close to being continue on from there. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.